Welcome back, everybody. Today is April 4th, 6:31 a.m. My name is James, and let's take a look and see what's going on here. So yesterday was had a really strong open, and then it kind of backed off a little as far as sort of the broad move of everything that had jumped at the beginning of the day, and then you kind of saw where the real strength was. It was pretty much semiconductors, and Tesla looked pretty good as well all day long. A few other ones were up, but there wasn't like a super huge broad base where everything just blasted off. And then even the market kind of pulled back. So if you look at the S&P 500 here, I'm kind of getting a little bit concerned on the move over this upper line, because we popped over pretty nice, but now we're getting dojis, or sorry, spinning tops. I could see some indecision taking place over a high like that. As long as we're closing above, that's still good. I really prefer another day like this one, a solid green move, get us away from that level, because the more we hang out there where we don't go higher, the more chance we have to just turn lower. So I'm a little concerned on the action. We just have to wait and see what we get, but I would say be careful. Be aware that the market itself could start tipping lower if we can't get the momentum over this high and pull ourselves higher. And a lot of that might be on the China trade. So like, it seems like the market has moved a lot on the anticipation of a trade deal. And if all of a sudden something changes, or it just takes too long, or we don't get enough catalyst to keep the energy going, then it could just peter off and we just don't get higher. I'm hoping what might happen is we keep getting these bits of the US and China are meeting today, and then they're meeting next week, and all that stuff, and we're not getting negative news, we're just getting these meetings, and then we're getting some productive talk from the administration. That might be enough to at least keep us at these levels, and then we'll transition from anticipation on a China trade deal to anticipation of earnings, and maybe that will lift us higher, because that would be much better than sitting there waiting for a trade deal that it still might take another 6 months for all we know. The other thing I wanted to look at is just the futures there. They're kind of flat, not really super negative. They're red, but they're not really super negative. And then the NASDAQ, same kind of thing, where it had a lot of momentum at the open. It looked like it was going to be a really strong day, and then things kind of pulled back. Even though semiconductors stayed strong, they still pulled back a bit during the day. And then like NVDA still kind of tipped up towards the close, which was good. I was happy to see that, but I don't like seeing such upside action that just kind of fades away. That's not good. So be careful. Let's look at the list. NVIDIA. This was actually a phenomenal day overall. It was up over $7 at one point. I don't know if it was $8 or not at one point. At least it was over 7. Blasted over this resistance line on very big volume. That's really good. So for example, I'm in this one from about here. That's where I had my stop at a break-even point until all this played out. And now that it broke higher, my stop is $2 below here. So I waited for a new technical pattern after the first entry, which was this, that finally broke out, and now I'm treating that as a new breakout, and my stop is now $2 below that one. So one thing I might do with this is I might get out before it ever hits 199 if it gets there. So if the overall market begins to get weak or something, and I'm just not feeling like this momentum is going to continue, I'll just take it out. I'd rather get out on the way up than on the way down, or I'd rather get out on the way up as opposed to the stock suddenly getting weak and me kind of thinking like, what's going on here? Just take it when it's there, I have a target of 199, but if I don't feel like it's going to get there, I'll just take it out. Spotify. So this is another one. This seems like it should have so much momentum and it's not there. You know, it just seems like it should be there and it's not there. Yes, it's breaking out. The volume isn't that big. It had a good update for a little while yesterday that just kind of fizzled. Like, where's the momentum? It still looks okay. I mean, if you look at the chart right now, right? It's broken out. It's making its way higher. Okay. I don't feel the momentum in Spotify that I want to be there. I just don't see it. But still, just hold your stop if you're in and you should be okay. iRobot looked like it was going to go. Pull back. Again, these are kind of warning signs to me also. It's like really good pattern, even when the market was open and this thing was up $1 or $2 at one point, I think. And it just fizzles. You know, that's not good. MELI took a dump. Boy, oh boy. I noticed, I was going to mention this too. I moved these lines, this top line, a couple of times. It was up first way down here. So if you entered down there, you're still fine, right? Hard to watch. I think that was something like a $10, $14 drop or something. Hard to sit in that. But if you had entered when it was way down here, you're still fine. You can have your stop at break even and you're still fine. It might bounce off the 21-day line there in green and then make its way back up, but it's struggling. You know, it is struggling, so I'd be careful there. Tesla is getting squashed in the pre-market. I mentioned in the last video that you might want to sell it. This was a pretty nice move from the break of this line all the way up to these two bars, and even yesterday, before yesterday's move, I was saying you might want to sell it because of headline risk. I wasn't even aware that the inventories were going to come out today, but I knew that this hearing was coming, and that's today. Yeah, yesterday would have been a good time to sell. If you didn't, you got squashed. But you're not too bad, because if you did get in down here, you're pretty close. You're not that far off. You could get out and not be hit too bad. But yeah, I would have recommended getting out yesterday, just because of the hearing, if nothing else, the hearing. But then the inventories are what's killing it right now. Etsy, kind of a pause. That actually looks pretty good. This guy might be pretty strong. Just kind of a spinning top after a pullback. That's actually pretty good. Etsy looks pretty good. Also, I want to mention, with the move that happened yesterday, every single one of my alerts went up, except for COUP. Everything else is, I have no other alerts. Everything else went off. COUP, I mentioned this kind of looks like a small ascending triangle. It might be, but that 50-day line is holding it down. So I'd probably put the line up here a little bit higher, maybe right at the 50-day, or still right there, as long as it breaks over there. But it needs the whole market to do this, you know. Market needs momentum. No, even though I think we closed up yesterday, but you know, you see how the momentum is kind of fizzling, right? Except for in specific stocks like NVDA, for example, or other semiconductors. That momentum is fizzling. It looks like we're gonna go, and we're just kind of fades away. That's not good. Shopify was up and still in the ascending triangle. That still looks pretty good. 210, 210.10. Blue actually made it out of there. Look at the volume. That's pretty good. You could have got in that guy yesterday. Set your stop and see what happens. That ain't too bad. TAL. See, here's another example. Okay, this guy broke out and still held above the line. That's good. Your stop is probably not even tripped. You should be sitting in a pretty good spot there. But you see how it broke out and fizzled out. That guy should have closed higher. It should have closed up near the high. Had good volume too, looks like. But yeah, I don't like that. I don't like what's going on there. I think a lot of the market direction is going to weigh on this China thing, unless, like I said, we can get a transitional sentiment from worrying about the China deal. Just kind of put that on the sidelines for now and start focusing on the potential for earnings. Paylocity is still in the triangle. and then Mongo tried to go. So that both leg's still intact. You know, close back inside isn't the end of the world. 146.70, I would say now, right around there. I'll send a new alert for that guy. So there you go. Hopefully you didn't get killed on Tesla. There was a really nice gain on there if you would have gotten out yesterday. But that's it for now. Be careful. That's what I would say. Be careful. NVIDIA is gapping up, but I'm not sure that momentum is going to keep going. In the whole market, semiconductors might have a bit more, but be careful. And I'll see you next time.